Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to speak about something that burns deeply in my heart. A message that I believe is for all of us, no matter where we are in life. It is a message of rising above, of going higher, of reaching beyond what seems possible. You see, the world we live in is full of challenges. We wake up each day and face struggles, some big, some small. But what defines us is not the struggles themselves, but how we choose to face them. It's easy to be discouraged when the road gets tough. It's easy to throw in the towel, to give up when everything seems too much to handle. But my friends, I'm here to tell you today that the greatest moments of your life often come after you face the greatest trial. You must rise above the rest, not by avoiding challenges, but by using them to strengthen you. The world will try to tell you that success is about being the strongest, the fastest. But true greatness is not measured by how high you climb above others, but by how high you rise in the face of adversity. It's about finding the courage to stand firm when everything around you seems to be crumbling. But rising above isn't just about individual strength, it's about purpose. Every one of you here has a purpose, a reason for being. When you understand your calling and live with that knowledge, you become unstoppable. Every challenge, every setback becomes a step toward fulfilling that purpose. You begin to realize that you are not simply living for yourself, but for something greater than yourself. That higher calling fuels you, lifts you, and gives you the strength to rise above. And as you rise, don't forget the power of example. It's not enough to rise above for your own glory. True greatness is measured by how you lift others as you go. The world needs more than just leaders. It needs examples of integrity, kindness, and humility. When you rise, you inspire others to rise with you. Your actions, your words, your faith, they become the light that guides others through their own dark valleys. You have the ability to lead not just by your success, but by your example. So I challenge you today. Rise above the rest. Not because you are perfect, not because the road will always be smooth, but because your life has meaning. You have a purpose that is greater than the circumstances around you. Stand firm, know your worth, and lead by example. When you rise above, you bring others along with you. And together, we can make this world a place where greatness is not measured by how much you have, but by how much you give in life. We all face challenges that test our will, our spirit, and our strength. It is in these moments of adversity that we find the true measure of our character. And while these challenges may seem insurmountable at times, they are also the very things that shape us into who we are meant to be. For through the darkness, we discover the light within ourselves. And as we encounter difficulties, we realize that every struggle, every setback, and every failure is but a stepping stone on the path toward greater understanding, greater strength, and greater purpose. When the storm clouds gather and the winds howl, when the road ahead seems unclear and the mountain seems too steep to climb, it is in those very moments of uncertainty that we must stand firm. For it is not the absence of struggle that defines us, but rather how we respond to it. Will we cower in fear, or will we rise in faith, knowing that every obstacle, no matter how large or intimidating, is an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to prove to ourselves that we have the strength, the resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward. No matter how hard the journey may seem, the path to success is never smooth, and the journey to fulfillment is never without its challenges. Yet it is these very challenges that provide us with the wisdom we need to grow, to learn, and to transform. For when we face difficulties head on, we learn more about our own limits. And more importantly, we learn how to push past them, to expand our horizons, to reach for the stars, even when our feet are firmly planted in the mud. Knowing that if we keep our eyes fixed on the horizon, we can overcome any obstacle, no matter how daunting it may appear at first. And so it is not the challenge itself that defines us, but how we approach it. For when we face challenges with an unwavering spirit, with faith in ourselves and in the greater plan that unfolds before us, we open the door to endless possibilities, to new horizons, and to an even deeper understanding of who we are and what we are capable of achieving, knowing that the greatest triumphs often come after the greatest struggles, and it is through these struggles that we discover the deepest strength within us. We must embrace our challenges with gratitude, not resentment, for they are not burdens to be carried, but opportunities to be seized. And though it may seem difficult to see the silver lining in the moment of despair, we must trust that in time we will understand why the path was so difficult, and that the lessons learned in the darkest hours will serve us well in the light. For every hardship endured builds our character, refines our resolve, and prepares us for the future that is yet to come. There will be times when you want to give up, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear. But it is in those moments that you must dig deep. You must find the inner strength to keep moving forward, for you are stronger than you think, and you are capable of more than you know. And if you can summon the courage to face the challenge, even when everything in you wants to turn away, you will find that you are not only capable of overcoming that challenge, but that you will emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. And so, my friends, I urge you, no matter the obstacles you face, no matter how difficult the road may seem, to rise above your challenges, to face them with unwavering determination, and to trust that you are more than capable of overcoming them, because within you lies an endless well of strength. And no matter how long the road or how rough the journey, you are not walking it alone. For there is always hope on the other side, and if you keep moving forward, if you keep pushing through, you will rise above it all, and you will conquer the challenges that stand before. And when you do, you will not only look back at your struggles with pride, knowing that you were able to rise above, but you will also look forward with hope and with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that whatever challenges may come your way, you are ready, and you will always rise. Always overcome, always keep moving forward, for that is the way to true greatness. In the journey of life, there comes a moment when you begin to realize that simply existing is not enough, that life is not just a series of events, but rather a beautiful, intricate tapestry woven with meaning. And it is in this realization that we come to understand that each one of us is here for a purpose that goes beyond the mundane tasks of daily life. A purpose that stirs the soul and calls us to something greater, something far more meaningful than we could ever imagine. For the heart of purpose lies in knowing that we are part of a grander design, a plan that transcends time and space, a plan that demands our active participation. To embrace purpose is not to wait for the world to show us the way, but rather to step forward with the conviction that we each have a unique role to play in this grand story. And though the path may not always be clear and the road may not always be easy, it is the pursuit of that purpose. The unwavering belief that there is meaning in every step we take, that gives our lives direction, that fuels our passions, and that fills our hearts with joy. For when we align our actions with our true calling, we find ourselves living with intention, with clarity, and with an unshakable sense of fulfillment. Purpose is not something that can be handed to you by others or found in fleeting moments of success, but it is something that must be discovered within yourself through reflection, through trial, through listening to the quiet whispers of your heart. For it is when we quiet our minds and look within that we come to understand who we are meant to be. And when we accept our purpose, it becomes the driving force that propels us forward through the good times and the bad, through the moments of struggle and the moments of struggle. For purpose does not make life easier, but it makes it worth living. And as we embrace our purpose, we begin to see the world differently. For we no longer view life as a series of random events, but as a beautifully orchestrated journey that is leading us towards something far greater. And when we understand that our purpose is not merely to exist, but to contribute, to make a difference, to leave a legacy, we begin to live with a renewed sense of urgency, a renewed sense of responsibility. For the time we have here is limited, and we must use it wisely, with the knowledge that every choice, every action, every word has the potential to shape the world around us. Yet embracing purpose does not mean we will not face hardships along the way, for the pursuit of purpose often comes with challenges, with moments of doubt, with setbacks that seem insurmountable. But it is in those very moments that our purpose shines brighter. For purpose is what keeps us going when the going gets tough. It is what gives us the strength to keep moving forward when all seems lost. For when we know why we are here, when we understand that our lives have meaning, there is nothing that can stop us from continuing the journey, no matter how difficult it may be. And when we embrace purpose, we also learn to embrace others, for our purpose is often intertwined with the lives of those around us. And as we live out our purpose, we become a source of inspiration, of encouragement, of strength to those who are still searching. And in helping others find their own purpose, we fulfill our own. For purpose is not just about what we do for ourselves, but about what we do for others. How we lift them up, how we help them see their own potential, and how we lead them toward their own path of fulfillment. In embracing purpose, we find not just direction, but also peace. For there is a deep peace that comes with knowing you are on the right path, a peace that transcends the noise of the world. A peace that comes from the certainty that you are doing what you're meant to do. and that no matter where the road leads, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And in that peace, you find the courage to continue, the strength to endure, and the wisdom to understand that purpose is not a destination, but a lifelong journey, one that we must continually seek, embrace, live with passion. So my friends, I urge you today to embrace your purpose, to step forward with courage, with faith, and with the knowledge that your life has a greater meaning, a deeper calling, and that when you walk in that purpose, you not only transform your own life, but you become a beacon of hope, a light for others to follow. And in doing so, you will leave an indelible mark on this world, a mark that will be remembered long after you are gone. For the legacy of purpose is one that never fades, but lives on in the lives of those you have touched. In a world that often looks for quick fixes, immediate gratification, and shortcuts to success, there is a timeless truth that stands firm. True leadership is not about titles or accolades, but about the example you set. For leadership begins not in the boardroom or the spotlight, but in the everyday actions we take, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when the decisions we make are not for personal gain, but for the greater good. And it is in these moments that we reveal the true depth of our character. And the mark we leave on the world is not one of words, but one of actions. For the best leaders are those who lead by example, who walk the talk, who inspire others not with promises, but with the consistency of their lives. When you lead by example, you understand that your actions speak louder than any speech, any motivational phrase, any command given from a distance. For the world is watching, whether you know it or not. And people are always observing how you treat others, how you handle adversity, and how you approach your own responsibilities. And in doing so, you provide a model for others to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. For when they see your integrity, your humility, your commitment, and your courage, they are inspired to be the best versions of themselves. And that is the true power of leadership, that through your example, others are empowered to rise, to grow, and to lead in their own right. But leading by example is not always easy, for it requires consistency. Even when no one is watching, it demands a level of integrity that goes beyond the surface, beyond the performance. For true leadership is not about impressing others or gaining recognition, but about doing the right thing even when it is difficult. Even when it costs you something, for true leaders know that the path of integrity is often a lonely one. And the choices they make will not always be popular, but they lead anyway. Because they understand that their responsibility is not just to themselves, but to those who look to them for guidance. And they know that their example will have a far-reaching impact. It is in moments of challenge and adversity that the strength of your leadership is truly tested. For when times are tough, when the pressure is on, it is easy to resort to fear, to shortcuts, to compromise, but true leaders show up in those moments with unwavering resolve, leading with wisdom, with patience and with a steady hand, knowing that others are looking to them for direction. And it is in how they respond to these moments that they earn the trust and respect of those they lead. For leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room, but about being the calm in the storm. The example of strength, resilience, and faith when all else seems uncertain. And while leadership is often associated with influence and power, the greatest leaders understand that influence is not about authority, but about the ability to inspire through service, through sacrifice, and through love. For leadership is rooted in the willingness to put others before yourself, to serve them with humility and compassion. And when others see you leading in this way, not for your own benefit, but for their well-being, they are moved to follow, not because of your position, but because of the example you set. For the greatest leaders are those who lead with heart, who serve with humility, and who lead by example in every moment, not just when it is convenient. Leading by example also means being willing to admit when you are wrong, to own up to your mistakes, and to learn from them. For no leader is perfect. But true leadership comes from the willingness to grow, to evolve, and to demonstrate to others that it is okay to fail, as long as we learn from those failures and rise again. And when others see you embracing vulnerability and taking responsibility, they are encouraged to do the same. For your example shows them that it is not perfection that makes a leader, but the courage to face challenges, to admit faults, and to grow through every experience. The impact of leading by example is immeasurable. For when you set the right example, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own influence. For the people you lead will go on to lead others. passing on the lessons they learned from you, and in this way, leadership transcends generations, for the best leaders know that their true legacy is not built on the things they accomplish for themselves, but on the lives they touch, the hearts they inspire, and the example they set, knowing that when you lead by example, you are not just changing lives for today, but for all time, leaving a legacy of kindness, integrity, and strength that will endure long after you are gone. So, my friends, let us commit to leading by example, not because we seek recognition, not because we desire power, but because we understand the profound impact we can have on the world. And we understand that leadership is not about us. It is about those we serve, those we inspire, and those we help to grow. And when we lead by example, we not only change the lives of those around us, but we create a ripple of positive change that will echo through generations, building a world that is kinder, stronger, and more compassionate. And in the end, it is this legacy of leadership that will define our lives and the lives of those we lead.